It's the Phoenix, Arizona weather discussion. This is for Thursday, the 21st of August. I'm Michael Groff. The two big weather headlines for today, number one, the heat, and number two, that chance of afternoon and evening showers and thunderstorms and a few severe storms here in the lower deserts, including Phoenix, and the possibility of some strong, damaging straight-line winds. Now, after today, we look toward a more active weather pattern beginning to shape up here across the Southwest this weekend, and especially for the first half of next week. The potential of the best opportunity for showers and thunderstorms in the valley that we've seen this entire season so far. What about temperatures? Well, yeah, it's hot around here today and tomorrow, but gradually we'll see those temperatures lower as monsoon moisture continues to increase. And in fact, by early next week, perhaps afternoon highs will be below average, maybe well below average. So a lot going on there. Plus, of course, we'll take a look at the tropics, see what's happening with all of that. So much more to get into, and we will do so in just a moment. Hey everyone, it's Michael Groff here to talk to you about your roof. With all the extreme weather we have in Arizona, you need a name you can trust, and that's why you should call Blackstone Roofing Group for all of your roofing needs. Call for your free inspection today. Big or small, they do it all. Tile, shingle, or flat roofing, they can help. Offering free inspections and more. Roofing made easy. Call 602-536-9363 or visit blackstoneroofinggroup.com to schedule your free inspection today. And if you tell them Michael Groff sent you, they'll take $500 off the price of your roof replacement. Again, that's 602-536-9363 or blackstoneroofinggroup.com. All right, let's get into that almanac from yesterday. 112 degrees was the afternoon high after a morning low of 89. 105 and 83 are the averages for this time of year. And we just missed that record high of 113 degrees set back in 2019. As we take a look outside right now, just after 12 o'clock, we've got mostly sunny sky across the valley. We're sitting at 108 degrees at Sky Harbor, but look at that dew point up at 61. It is very muggy out there. Relative humidity, 22%. The winds are light, and the barometer is falling. Satellite picture out here across the Southwest, and you can see what's been going on as we put this in motion. High pressure is sitting over the Four Corners. That's a great spot for it to be in to advect monsoon moisture into the Southwest. And we'll continue to see moisture levels on the increase this afternoon and this evening, and over the next several days as this ridge kind of meanders around the Southwest. Now, unfortunately, it's still a rather intense ridge, and so that's what's going to keep us toasty hot today and tomorrow and even into the weekend. But the ridge will gradually start to weaken, and that should set the stage for better chances of storms going forward. The watch warning map, of course, we still have an extreme heat warning in effect here for the lower deserts, south central, southwest Arizona, the western part of the state, and that's in effect through 8 p.m. Friday. Elsewhere, of course, in Southern California, Nevada, yes, the extreme heat warnings there. The valleys of California up into the Pacific Northwest. Over the East Coast, yeah, those coastal flood advisories still ongoing for the Outer Banks of North Carolina. Virginia, the East Coast of the United States still getting battered by some pretty good wave action in association with Hurricane Aaron. And we're going to continue to see that threat of rip currents from Miami all the way up to Portland, Maine. So Aaron is beginning to move away from the east coast of the United States, but the effects will still be ongoing, at least for a little while longer. We still have those tropical storm warnings and hurricane warnings for the adjacent coastal sections. But luckily, the United States certainly was spared any significant impacts from Aaron. Convective outlook for today, the standard slight risk of severe storms, level 2 out of 5 over portions of South Dakota and Minnesota, the marginal risk for the adjacent areas. Here in Arizona, a marginal risk, that level 1 out of 5 risk for severe storms. The areas in the darker green to include Phoenix and Mesa and Scottsdale, all the way down to Casa Grande and Tucson. The Phoenix metro area, yes, we are involved in that. And the threat for severe storms today does exist. Now, in order to have a severe storm, one of two things has to happen. Either hail reaching the ground that's an inch in diameter or greater, or thunderstorm-related surface winds at 58 miles per hour in speed or greater. And that's our threat for today. Those strong, gusty, perhaps damaging straight-line winds from those outflow boundaries generated by thunderstorms as they move into the valley this afternoon and this evening. Wouldn't even be surprised to see an isolated microburst out of the strongest storm as well. But that's really what we're looking at for today. And of course, some storms will obviously produce some lightning and some brief heavy rain as well. But yes, strong winds are really the biggest threat from storms. Now, again, it's kind of a conditional threat. We're not looking at a widespread thunderstorm outbreak in all probability, but we'll keep that in mind as we go forward here, and we'll show you the implications of that on modeling in just a moment. The tropics in the Atlantic Basin, pretty noisy, although most of this is not very threatening. Now, obviously, we've got Aaron still on the board out there. It's east of the middle Atlantic coast. We've got 3 other tropical waves. There's that wave out there approaching the Leeward Islands. We've got that X out there in the middle of the Atlantic, and we've got one in the eastern Atlantic. All right. Our western system there, our system approaching the Leeward Islands, that's going to turn north. That's not going to impact the United States East Coast in all probability. Obviously, we're going to keep an eye on it. Might be a threat to Bermuda at some point. That X in the middle of the Atlantic, that's a junk system. Nothing's going to happen with that. And then we've got one out there in the eastern, moving into the central Atlantic. We will watch that, of course. But right now, no other immediate threats to the United States. And even Aaron really isn't much of a threat anymore, as this is beginning to turn to the northeast and moving away. Category 2 hurricane, top winds 100 miles per hour. The tropical storm force wind field is away from the east coast of the U.S. We're not really going to concern ourselves with this, as it's beginning to race to the northeast out into the North Atlantic. It'll be somewhere south of Iceland by early next week, possibly giving some wind and rain as sort of a mid-latitude cyclone type system to parts of Western Europe. We'll have to see. All right, closer to home. Let's see here. Oh, there's the satellite presentation on Aaron as well. I thought I'd show you this because it's just so impressive. This is a massive storm. I mean, this is not some tight, compact little hurricane. This is a massive storm. At one point, this thing was almost the size of Texas. And really, if you look at the entire cloud shield, it may very well still be. Very impressive. All right, closer to home. Precipitation outlook. This is valid through Thursday morning of next week. Rain amounts in Phoenix. Hey, these numbers are coming up. I mean, you see a lot more color on this map. Here in Phoenix, 1/4 to 1/2 inch, but even out in southwest Arizona, those of you that watch us in Yuma and the greater Ajo Metroplex, and all up and down the Colorado River Valley. We have some of you that watch us in Las Vegas and up in northwest Arizona, Steve and Renee up in Willow Creek. Yeah, it looks like just about everybody getting in on the chance of some measurable rain. Now, of course, whenever we show you this graphic, what do I always tell you? Your amount will vary. This represents an average of what you'll see across the region. But of course, as we know, one neighborhood can get 2 inches of rain. One neighborhood can get nothing. Certainly the heaviest amounts favored across northern Arizona, Prescott, Flagstaff. I mean, yeah, 2 inches plus, maybe parts of southern Arizona as well. But a fairly decent potential of widespread precipitation across the area coming in here this weekend and especially early next week. And we're going to figure out what's going on with that in more detail right now, at least to the best of our ability. As we take a look at the models, see what's going on. Here we go. The GFS, the 12Z run valid at 5 o'clock this afternoon. This is the upper look at 500 millibars, about 18,000 feet off the ground. All right, you got that. You've got Aaron off the east coast of the U.S., moving to the northeast. You've got an upper low, kind of a short wave there over Manitoba. There's a trough that's well off the Pacific Northwest coast, but out here in the west, we are dominated by this upper ridge that's sitting near the Four Corners. That's our subtropical or monsoon ridge. Now, the upper heights, as of this morning, we're about 596 decameters in the center of that system. So it's still very intense. So what it means down at the surface for the rest of the day today, partly cloudy, widely scattered, afternoon and evening showers and thunderstorms developing over the higher terrain of eastern and southeast Arizona. And with the flow aloft being easterly to southeasterly, those storms that develop over there will be pushed toward the lower deserts, including Phoenix, later this afternoon and this evening. Now, as mentioned, that ridge is still intense, so high temperatures this afternoon, 109 to 113. We will be flirting with a record high today. But the bigger story will be those thunderstorms and what happens with those. Well, let's take a look at some of our high-resolution guidance, see what's going on there. This is the HRRR, the simulated radar product at 7 o'clock this evening. And at that time, even though the radar may not look precisely like this, You see showers and storms rolling in from the east toward the lower deserts, maybe a few storms off to our northwest, maybe a few to our southwest. Now, in an ideal scenario, we would see some colliding outflow boundaries from different thunderstorms that develop, different little thunderstorm clusters that develop to the east or to the north and south of us. And those colliding boundaries, you'd get low-level convergence, and that can create new thunderstorms here in the lower deserts. That's what sometimes gives us those big thunderstorm outbreaks. I don't think that's going to happen, although there's a very small chance, I suppose, that could. More likely, though, we'll see these storms coming in from the east. A pretty good outflow boundary is generated from those. Gusty winds from the east will overspread the valley this evening. And we'll see some areas of blowing dust, and that should push west. And, of course, that'll dissipate somewhat as it gets further west across the valley. But maybe a few thunderstorms follow on the heels of that, at least for the East Valley, where some of you could see some rain. Now, rain chances tonight are still pretty low, generally in about the 20% bracket. And the main reason is we still have this pesky warm air aloft, this capping inversion. And that's why we'd really love to see some good outflow boundaries and maybe colliding outflow boundaries to really break that cap and get some new storms to develop in here. I'm not sure that's going to happen, but we do have the moisture around. I mean, the HRRR does show precipitable water values certainly above what we would call baseline monsoon levels, right? Somewhere in the 1.3 to 1.5 inch range, and that's decent for this time of year. So we do at least have a chance at some rain in here for this evening. Widespread, probably not, but at least some of you could see some action as we get especially into the, I'd say, early mid-evening hours. Generally after 5, 6 p.m., maybe till about 10 or 11 p.m. is really the prime window for storms. All right, otherwise for tonight, overnight lows will generally be in the 80s to about 90, and then tomorrow we'll just cue it right back up again. Rinse, repeat. Partly cloudy, widely scattered, afternoon and evening showers and thunderstorms. High temperatures will top out somewhere around 108 to 113 in the lower deserts. As we go into the weekend, the ridge is going to very slowly start to weaken, and it's going to drift around the southwest, maybe taking a position slightly further to the north and west over southern Utah. Flow aloft will be out of the east. Afternoon and evening showers and thunderstorms will be possible. We'll nudge that rain chance up to the 30% bracket for us on Saturday. I would actually say that the better chance of storms will be found across northern and especially northwest Arizona, maybe even into the Mojave Desert. And at some point, even southwest Arizona, southeast California may get in on that better chance of storms. And here in Phoenix, obviously the chance of storms will be there. I just don't know if it'll be bullseyed on us just yet, at least not on Saturday or Sunday. But we'll still keep that kind of 30% chance of storms going both days. High temperatures anywhere from about 105 to 111 here in the lower deserts. Those afternoon highs coming down just a little bit as moisture levels continue to increase. Clouds are around, and the ridge is weakening. All right, now as we go into next week, this is where things really start to turn more interesting. The ridge is going to start to shift back toward the south and east, taking a position over New Mexico on Monday. More of a southeasterly flow is in place, evidence of a weak little trough beginning to develop to the west of us, and some additional energy and forced ascent or lift in the atmosphere. And that's going to help to create more shower and thunderstorm activity on Monday. So we'll call it maybe partly to even mostly cloudy, with still the best chance of afternoon and evening showers and thunderstorms, although they could really occur just about any time as instability really rises here. High temperatures will come down to about 103 to 107, pretty much in line with where they ought to be this time of year. The average high 105 degrees, and will be kind of in that range. And the humidity levels continue to tick up. And yes, we're bumping that rain chance up to about the 40% bracket. Here's Tuesday. Pretty good chance of showers and storms, scattered to numerous showers and thunderstorms virtually statewide at this point. Obviously, best chance of storms over the higher terrain. But even here in the lower deserts, we've got the rain chances up to about the 50% bracket. Some of our guidance suggests they'll be even higher than that. I'm going to keep the forecast a little bit conservative on this, but still, it sure looks like with some energy sitting just to the west of us and more of an enhanced flow aloft, Maybe some more organized shower and thunderstorm activity will be with us, and high temperatures will just barely be scraping above 100 degrees by this point, if we even get above 100, with more clouds and precipitation around. Here's Wednesday. Wednesday might turn out to be kind of a transitional type of day. We've got this little trough that's kind of sitting to the west. The ridge at this point is sitting over the Big Bend of Texas, and the flow aloft is south, maybe starting to turn southwesterly. But there's quite a bit of energy and dynamic support here over the area, and with cooler air aloft, it's not going to take much to trigger showers and storms, as we'll be in a pretty deep pool of monsoon soup here. Moisture levels will be pretty high still. So scattered showers and thunderstorms around virtually any time. High temperatures, how about mid to upper 90s? We're not even calling for 100 degrees here by next Wednesday. But drier air is looming to the west, and the weather pattern does look to be shifting. Let's keep it going. A week from today, this is Thursday, the 28th. The ridge is sitting over South Texas, and we've got an upper low that's way out there southwest of the Gulf of Alaska. We've got a rather broad ridge that's nosing all the way up into western Canada, but underneath that, some energy is undercutting here, and so the flow aloft is turning more westerly. And this is going to dry us out if this verifies, and pretty good model consistency says that it will. So showers and thunderstorms will pretty rapidly decrease across the area, but with the presence of the ridge pretty far away, temperatures are not going to warm back up very much. Highs will just be right around 100. Overnight lows won't be too bad either, mainly in the 70s to perhaps low 80s. Here is Friday, the 29th, and we're still looking dry. Height anomalies, well, the negative heights, they're coming back up a little bit here. I would say the ridge is starting to build back toward northern Mexico. Upper heights 588 to 591 decameters. So high temperatures will be getting closer to average, upper 90s to about 104, which is still not bad for late August, but we're dry. And this is the end of the period, Saturday the 30th. Goodness, we're almost at the end of the month here. And that's a westerly flow, that's dry. But this is just one perspective. You might say, okay, Mike, well, that's the GFS. What does it know anyway? Good point. So let's take a look at the European at the same time. This is Saturday the 30th. Euro is pretty much in line with the GFS. High pressure across northern Mexico, westerly flow, we're dry. European AI. And, as people point out, this is an experimental model, but it does a pretty good job. And it's got the ridge a little further to the northeast, maybe centered over New Mexico, but the flow aloft is still southwesterly. We're still pretty dry in this setup. There might be a little bit more moisture in this look across eastern Arizona, but other than that, no, I'd say we're pretty dry, and we're seasonably warm, if that's right. Highs would be somewhere between about 100 to 106, and, overnight lows would be a little bit more pleasant with the slightly longer nights and drier air in place. Looking at rainfall for Phoenix, this goes out through the 4th of September. It's off the GFS Ensemble. The mean is about a half an inch. European, about a half an inch. Pretty good spread here. Got some members over 2 inches, though. The European AI Ensemble. Yeah, the mean here is almost at an inch. So this is the pick to click, right? So I would say the European AI Ensemble has done the best job, but this might be overdone. Although, could we see an inch of rain from this upcoming event? We could. Could we completely strike out and see nothing? Well, these ensembles say no, but we know how this monsoon season has gone. And I know how you're thinking out there. You're saying, I'll believe it when I see it, understandably. But boy, oh boy, are we seeing some very consistent signs and some positive signs that we'll at least see some action across the area over the next several days before we ultimately dry out. And then the question I've got to ask is, once we dry out here later part of next week, is that going to be it for what has been a very, very unimpressive dud of a monsoon? I don't know. We will see. Temperatures off the national blend of models. Yeah, we're hot today, tomorrow, even into the weekend, but temperatures clearly headed down, and even the NBM says by next Wednesday, we're not even making 100 degrees. It is possible we don't make it on Tuesday. And even after that, temps will still be pretty close to seasonal averages. All right, that's going to do it for the Phoenix, Arizona weather discussion for today. My next video is due back here tomorrow morning. Should you happen to enjoy these videos, be sure to subscribe, like, share, click that notification bell, leave those comments, questions, and suggestions. If you really enjoy what we do here, you want to support the channel, such as we had yesterday. And I appreciate all of you guys for your donations. Thank you so much. You can click that thanks icon below the video here on YouTube and make those contributions to us that way, or via PayPal. groffshow@gmail.com is that PayPal address. It's groffshow@gmail.com for PayPal. And of course, our Venmo, which is also linked up down in the description. The executive producer of the Phoenix, Arizona weather discussion is my OAO, the sweetest of all time, the Asian sensation and proprietor of sweetchildaz.com.org and the Facebook page of the same name, Sweet Child Arizona, talking about my Michelle. Check her out. Blogs, videos, everything Michelle related, possibly Adriana related. It's all linked up down in the description. Also, check out our streaming station. It's available 24/7, 365. It's called KMGX. What do we do over there? We play a ton of music. We have a lot of fun, so give that a listen. Also, check out Dan over at the Courtroom Files YouTube channel. The guy is on fire. His videos are just blowing up all over the place. It's the Courtroom Files on YouTube or courtroomfiles.com on the World Wide Web for all of your Courtroom Files merch. Now, I also promote his channel because, yes, I love Dan. Dan's a great guy. He's a friend. I'd promote his channel anyway. But I have an added incentive, and that is that tonight you can catch me over there for Sidebar. That is a show that 4 of us do. Dan, Ashley, Bailey, and myself. We're all there talking LawTube stuff and just stuff that's not weather related, but it's still fun to talk about and do. And just check it out tonight, 8 o'clock Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, and here in Arizona over on the Courtroom Files YouTube channel. All right. Thank you guys so much for watching. All of your continued support. It is so greatly appreciated. Please be safe, stay cool, stay hydrated out there, and you guys have yourselves a terrific rest of your Thursday.